All right. And in today's society, you ask anyone how they're doing, and they'll either say, I'm fine or I'm stressed. Right? True or not true? And stress is contributing, or actually, I should say, a lot of people think that stress is contributing to weight gain or the inability to lose weight. And that can certainly be possible. But everyone has stress. All right. And it's actually how we manage and process that stress that determines how it affects the rest of your body and its response to weight loss. So, we're going to start from the very beginning and see what happens when you experience a stress, what the body does when you experience that. And just to be clear, first of all, I want to say that small amounts of stress is a good thing. It produces adrenaline, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but it produces adrenaline and it helps us get shit done. Exercising is a form of stress, and we all know that that is super beneficial for our health as well. But it's the constant levels of high stress that compound and negatively affect our health. Okay, so what happens in our body when we experience something that causes stress, right? Because when you experience stress of any kind, it can be scrolling on social media, being chased by a bear, an unpaid bill, a relationship that's going badly, a car accident, a death in the family. This, like, all of these are stressors, all right? And it's actually the amygdala, which is the area of the brain that's responsible for emotional processing, that sends distress signals to the hypothalamus, right? The hypothalamus is the command center. So this is where fight or flight comes into play, right? So thinking of the amygdala and the hypothalamus, right? The hypothalamus is the command center. I want you to think of this as a fire alarm. All right. So the hypothalamus is the actual fire alarm, it's the command center. The amygdala, right, is like is the smoke coming into the hypothalamus to then alert. All right. So just keep that in mind. We'll revisit that here in a minute. But you've probably heard of the fight or flight response before, right? So this is our body's prepare to fight or prepare to run, right? This is the alarm system. And what most people don't realize is that your body can't tell the difference between the stress of traffic and I'm being chased by a bear. So the body's response is the same to stress. Now, if you needed to run from a bear or or a cougar, right? Your body would increase blood flow. It would expand your peripheral vision. It'll heighten your senses. It'll increase the airways while pumping adrenaline through your body to sharpen all of your senses. So you'll also release glucose, right? So the supply, the extra sugar in your body, right? It'll release stored glucose to supply more nutrients throughout the body and to your muscles. So, needless to say, this system is a protective system. It has your body's best interest in mind to help you run from the bear. The problem is the chronic stress. All right, so it's the chronic activation of this system. The fight or flight should be a small response. It shouldn't be a consistent response. And now we're going to go back to that fire alarm, right? Think of the fight or flight response as the fire alarm in your house. The fire alarm is there, but it's not going off. It's silent unless you burn toast or bacon. So if your body is under chronic stress, it's like that fire alarm is just constantly going off. And when you first hear it, you hear it, right? It's deafening. But over time, we become accustomed to it. The sound we no longer hear. We've become deaf to it. So the initial surge, right, subsides, and the hypothalamus activates the next component of the stress response. Okay, so we have the amygdala contacting the control center, contacting the hypothalamus, and then the hypothalamus is going to activate the next system, right? And so this is collectively, this is called the HPA axis. This is the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and the adrenal gland combo. So when we live in this state of constant stress, the HPA axis continues to pump hormones to keep the sympathetic nervous system. We've talked about that a few videos ago, probably a couple of months ago, but in this helps keep it in check. This process results in the adrenal gland releasing cortisol, something that you may be more familiar with, right? So, cortisol allows the body to stay revved up, which is often why high stress people thrive off of more stress, right? And so, as you can imagine, this constant surge of adrenaline and cortisol aren't exactly the optimal for your body's long term, right? And I want to put a pin just right here. Cortisol, there are benefits to it, and we've talked about it before. Okay. But again, cortisol in excess is where we run into trouble. All right. So, how does this affect your like body fat and weight? Well, we know that ongoing stress disrupts hormone balances, right? We have to remember that the body does not work in isolation. Everything is moving. Think of like a clock, right? You have all these gears, and the one gear is influencing three more gears, and these three gears influence eight gears, right? Think of your body as a clock. It's always working, nothing is in isolation, right? So our bodily functions and systems are deeply intertwined. So, for instance, whenever cortisol is high, blood sugar levels rise. When blood sugar levels rise, insulin is released to shuttle glucose into the cells, right? To fuel that fight or flight response. Now, in excess, glucose in the bloodstream that the body cannot or does not utilize is sent to fat cells. Once glycogen, right, it stores in the liver and muscles, stores are full, believe it or not, this long term just cascades. All right. So this can inhibit the body's ability to tap into its own body fat stores for energy. So high levels of cortisol for extended periods of time can even mobilize fat storage and move it towards the belly because there are more insulin receptors at that site. So additionally, we know that cortisol in our body's response to stress is oftentimes to retain water. This again comes down to our body's primal need to survive, right? It senses stress. It holds on to water as a means of protection, right? To keep from dehydration during a dangerous event. And as a result, we can often see that the scale fluctuate up and down during stressful times, even if your nutrition hasn't necessarily changed. We can see these upward scale fluctuations happen with poor sleep, right? Stressful to the body, stressful to the body, and intense workout the day before. Again, stress to the body. Emotional, mental trauma. Again, stress to the body. You know, needless to say, our body and our weight are extremely perceptive to stress. And other than weight being affected, chronic stress can also decrease brain function, affect memory function, can cause inflammation in the body, can weaken the immune system, can cause GI issues, affect a good night's sleep, cause physical pain in the joints, and can cause acne and breakouts. So, with all of that wonderful list of things, how can we fix this? Right? And whether if you're stressed from work, finances, relationship, physical pain, stress can wreak havoc. And so, some tips on how to manage that, I'm going to give you 10 of them, but find what works for you. It may be one or two things, it may be five or six. But what I do recommend is picking one to do and see how it does, and do that for like 6 weeks. I'm not talking for a day. All right. I'm not talking even for 1 week. Do it for 6 weeks and see how you respond to it. All right. So, 10 tips on how to manage stress. Number one is get active. All right. So, moving your body on a consistent basis can help, and having an exercise routine significantly improve or I'm sorry, having a exercise routine has improved self-reported depression and has shown to that physical activity helps with reduced stress levels and improved mood, while sedentary behavior may lead to increased stress, poor mood, and sleep disturbances. Regular exercise has been shown to improve symptoms of common health conditions such as high anxiety and depression. So get moving. And this doesn't mean that you go balls to the wall, hit training every single day. You do you do 3 a days for 7 weeks in a row, all of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just moving your body. It could be yoga, it could be mobility work, it could be going for a walk, it could be weight training, right? I mean, I personally recommend weight training. We all know the benefits of that. We've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again, but you know, take it day by day, especially if you are under extreme stress. Take it day by day. Some weeks you may just get into the gym 3 times a week, twice a week, and the other days you just focus on moving your body. That's okay. Just get active, get moving. Number two is having a healthy diet, right? So following a nutrient-dense diet and limiting the ultra-processed foods may help provide your body with nutrients it needs for optimal health and decrease your risk for deficiencies in nutrients that help regulate stress, right? There's this common saying, you eat like shit, you're going to feel like shit. Well, that's kind of where this is coming into play. All right, making sure that your body is being fueled properly. You're not going to put cheap gas in a Bugatti, right? If you don't know what a Bugatti is, it's a very expensive, like high-end sports car. All right? You're not going to put cheap gas in a Ferrari, right? You're going to go for that premium. Treat your body like a Bugatti. Go for the premium, all right? Number 3 is minimize screen time. Y'all, this thing is ridiculous. Okay, we spend way too much time on the news, on Instagram, on social media, just in general. All right, minimize the screen time. It can help reduce stress. And then pay attention to your vitamins and minerals. Okay, this is number 4, right? Like I had mentioned in with the healthy diet, several vitamins and minerals play a role in your body's stress response and mood regulation. So having a deficiency in one or more nutrients may affect your mental health and your ability to cope with stress. Number 5 is fill your cup up first. Okay. This is self care. And I'm not talking about the self care of like, oh, go get your hair done, go get your nails done, take a 3 hour bubble bath while you're eating, candies and cookies and sipping on a bottle of wine. I'm not talking about that. All right. I'm talking about filling your cup up first. Journaling, meditating, going for a walk, going for a workout, making sure that you are fueling your body, that you're getting a good quality breakfast, right? So, well, whatever you need to do to fill your cup up first, that's what I want you to do, right? Taking time for yourself is essential in order to living a healthy life, right? Especially if you are taking care of somebody else, right? Or you live with somebody else, right? So, filling up your cup first, right, then you can pour into other people in your life. Whether and you could be an introvert. I'm an introvert. I still got to fill up my cup because I work with clients, right? Nobody's going to want energy backwash. Backwash of any kind is gross, right? So filling up your cup first at the beginning of the day so then you can pour into other people in your life that you interact with is extremely important. Number 6, reduce caffeine intake. Number 7, spend time with family and friends. Number 8, actually, number 7, spend time with family and friends who do not cause stress. Let me just be very clear on that, right? If you are with a family member who just, as soon as you see them, your blood levels just go through the roof, maybe avoid them, all right? But I'm talking about people that you can actually be yourself around and relax, right? That you can share with. Number 8, create boundaries and learn to say no. This is especially for you people pleasers. All right. Creating boundaries does eliminate stress because if you know that getting like staying home instead of going out to dinner or going out to that concert, staying home and going to bed early, getting good quality sleep, that's what your body needs, but you don't know how to say no, then you just spiral downward and you aren't taking care of yourself, right? That's not providing you anything. Yeah, you may not have that FOMO effect, like the fear of missing out. Oh, but what about this dinner? What about this concert? Yeah, is FOMO really worth it if your health is in jeopardy? I don't think so. Number 9, learn to avoid procrastination. Go for the power list. All right. So, and I personally think that people who say, "Oh, I need procrastination. I need that animal on my back to push me to get things done." Yeah, I think that's bullshit. All right. So, if you can't create that urgency within yourself, I mean, you have to have a timeline, dude. Go for the power list, right? Make the power list your deadline, right? You have 5 things that you need to get done within that day. All right? And you can't put it off to the next day, right? As a small business owner, this is one of my number one thing that I have learned is utilize the power list. All right? So, learn to avoid procrastination, okay? And if you don't know what the power list is, the power list is 5 things, just 5 things that will help you move forward towards whatever goal you have. If you're my one-on-one client, then you know win the day, right? If you're not a client of mine, win the day, it's 5 things, right? If your goal is to lose body fat, then you need to do these 5 things every single day. Number 1, you need to track your food. You need to hit your calories and your protein. You need to drink your water. You need to move your body. You need to prioritize your sleep. Those 5 things, bare minimum, that's what you need to do. Anything else that you do is a cherry on top. All right. So learn to avoid procrastination. Go for the power list. Lastly, practice deep breathing. Deep breathing actually activates your body's relaxation response. And with that deep breathing, you want to make sure that it's in your diaphragm, it's in your core, right? So it's not in your chest. So whenever you are practicing that deep breathing, have a hand on your chest and on your belly. And you want your belly to be moving, not necessarily chest moving, okay? I like to picture my belly like a balloon, right? So anytime that I breathe in, I'm inflating the balloon and it's going into a circle, right? It's expanding in all directions, not just from my tummy, but like from my rib cage, from the back, right? It's that 360 core. Think about your body or your core as a balloon. Expand it and then relax. Expand it and relax. Right? So that's with the deep breathing. And then final note, you cannot out supplement your stress. The supplements that people push, that people say that, oh, stress reduce, stress reduce, stress reduce. Yeah, I mean that they can help, but other stress management techniques are there too. All right. Like you can't just take a pill and continue to procrastinate your way through life. You can't take a pill and just be okay. That's like slapping a band-aid on the problem. All right. It's very similar to supplements with weight loss, right? No supplement is a magic supplement, right? It's just slapping a band-aid. It's putting lipstick on a pig. All right. That's essentially what this is. You cannot out supplement stress. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. You cannot out supplement a bad lifestyle. All right. So you have to change your lifestyle if you really and truly want to fix your health. All right. So I hope these techniques, I hope you learned something, right? So learned about the fire alarm, learned about the fight or flight, learned just about stress. And I hope that you're able to take away a technique and implement it into your life today. Whether if that is exercise or journaling or deep breathing, right? I do deep breathing before and after every client that I talk with, because that allows me to separate to carpentiment. I can't say the word. Uh Allows me to divide up my mind, all right, to a I can't say the word, y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? It's not all jumbled. I'm able to separate that time before to my time now and be able to give everything that I have with the client in front of me. All right. So, yeah, I hope y'all are able to take away a stress management technique from today and implement it into your life. So if y'all have any questions about this, please let me know. I'm here to help. I'm here to talk. And if you have another technique, drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you do, because I know there's a ton of them out there. All right. Hope you have a wonderful day. Go win.